Hello and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Real Chill Conversations. How you doing tonight, Dominique?
I'm doing good, girl. I'm doing good. Had a little scare for a minute, but
You okay? You're gonna be all right. So tonight we're gonna run down this whole Carlee Russell story. We had touched on it a couple of weeks ago, and I think at that point in the conversation, um, we both felt that something was just off with this whole situation. Something was just off with this whole story. That it just didn't make any sense. And we both kind of surmised that if she was found to have been safe and have had made this story up, should she be charged? And I said yes.
yes, you did.
Yeah, Carlee Russell has, in fact, been charged with two misdemeanors. Hoover Police Department announced that she had turned herself in on Friday. And this came 4 days after. So let's back up to July 24th. Her lawyer released a statement stating that she had never been kidnapped, that she had made the whole thing up. She, stated that had no further explanation as to what happened, what she was doing during that time. No real details and no further information was given to us, but the police had released their statements and their documents stating that they could not find out where she was, like her story of being abducted and taken and placed in a trailer and then being made to remove her clothes and having pictures taken of her, and then she winds up back at her parents' doorstep on foot. They just couldn't tie that whole situation, that whole story back together. So I just, I'm wondering, are you surprised? Are you shocked that these charges came through? And do you think that she's being charged with based on her actions of the time and the effort and the $25,000 in reward money that was put up for her safe return?
Back at it again. Good. You already know what I'm gonna say. Okay, so I just do want to say this. It was all fake. She came out and said that. Um, it's been an ongoing thing on social media regarding this situation. It's like a lot of things have come out, a lot of screenshots, a lot of videos. And I just, I don't think um, the magnitude of the case itself, especially with the Alabama law, because I've been hearing a lot that people are not satisfied with what she was giving.
Right.
I completely understand. And as a mother, I think, it's very lenient. So she was lucky.
Yeah.
She was very lucky. Um, I heard on the Roland Martin show, right? Because he was trying to make a point about the attorney general coming on and talking about it, how they were going to change the laws and stuff like that. They had their own narrative about it, but I feel like it should be changed.
Yeah.
It should. Because to me, as a mother, that would be more of a reason why you wouldn't play with something like that. You see what I'm saying? Like the other lady, I don't know her name, but it was a white lady, and she got prison time, didn't she? I think it was like 18 months or something. The little girl in Florida, she was just arrested for faking a kidnapping. She was 11, but they have other laws in those states. But I bet you she won't think about doing it again.
Exactly. Now, the days before Russell disappeared, I have a whole timeline of events that took place before she allegedly made that 911 call, kicking off the whole search for her, and the whole story of her abduction went viral. She Googled on July 11th, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" On July 13th, she had Googled, so that was at 7:30 a.m. She'd asked, "Do you have to pay?" She'd Googled, "How do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" Why would you ask? Why would you be Googling, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" And children.
Some people have said that, maybe she's mentally disturbed. But to me, just in my opinion, allegedly, it all seemed pretty calculated. And that's why you came back at 49 hours after coming up missing. Because you did your research. You can't say you didn't do your research.
Right.
Compared to the other lady, she was missing for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
She faked her kidnap. So I can understand that's like a little, a little more time, resources, money, prayers, everything. Not to say we don't want to pray for people and stuff like that. Of course, I'm a advocate of prayers, but it's so many people out here missing and you playing.
It's funny that you said that you're an advocate for prayers, because in her statement that she released through her attorney, she asked for the nation's prayers as she makes it through this uncertain time.
Right. So to me, um, you know, again, we're back at it again. I don't think Carlee Russell is going away for a while. Um, a lot of people are pissed off about the situation. And, everybody have their own opinion. So I don't judge or anything, but I do like to see things from different perspectives. So the very first picture that we got of her after deceiving law enforcement in the world um, is a picture of her mugshot with her smiling.
Yes. Yes, and it's that, seeing that picture of the mugshot and seeing her smiling and not, with any type of remorse showing through her facial
No remorse.
and her body language, that to me tells me that this was something that was very calculated and very manipulative.
And you knew the hours.
Especially when we know that you've searched for certain things and you've Googled certain things and your search history was reported back to us, things that you were looking up and researching. This was all very calculated and manipulative. So those that want to fall back on the whole mental health, maybe she's having a mental health crisis or having a mental health issue, I think it's doing a disservice to those that truly are struggling with mental health issues and mental health struggles. This to me seems like somebody that's not struggling with mental health, but is very calculative and manipulative and more on the lines of maybe a sociopath.
And I don't know if people like, I noticed that. Like 49 hours, you really gonna come back 49 hours. That was a calculative point right there. Like,
Yeah.
you already Googled about the Amber Alert and everything. So obviously you already had in mind what you were gonna do. Like, I think this is why she didn't come out and speak personally. Because if I was going through a mental breakdown, I'm just trying to put myself in people's shoes. I know everybody ain't like me, but I'm just saying. If I wanted to come up missing, if I was going through something, the least I could do is come out and say, guys, not through an attorney.
Right.
I was wrong. I
Right.
was trying to get attention from my parents, or I was trying to sneak a link with my boo. Or my ex cheated on me and I was just, whatever the case may be, just come out and say it. Because, that would have definitely had a lot of people understand your situation. But the fact that the police don't even know what you were doing for those 49 hours, and the public does not know, then they can only assume, you
Right.
know,
Right.
like you don't care. You
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There's
You
no
don't care.
remorse. And, I was very frustrated and disappointed that we didn't hear from Carlee directly herself. I feel like, she owes the nation an
I
explanation.
think people would have been very understanding of that.
If we had heard directly from her,
Yes.
I think, because it goes a long way to be accountable. We talk about this a lot. When you
Yes.
ability for your actions and you own your behavior, don't make excuses for it, don't put the blame onto other people, but you take full ownership of everything that you've said and done. You can't do anything but respect that. Whether you understand the behavior or the actions or not, you can still respect the fact that the people are standing on, hey, I own what I said, I own what I did. And to me, Carlee didn't do that by hiding behind her attorney. And perhaps
Yeah.
for reasons she was advised to do that, I don't know.
Because she knew, she was like, I don't have to tell y'all shit. And she's right. She don't have to.
Right,
But then nobody had to donate anything.
right,
Nobody had to help do anything
right,
either.
right. There was an anonymous donation of $20,000 that
Yeah.
for her safe return, and then Crime Stoppers had put up 5,000 for information on her safe return.
Right. So just the same way you felt, like
Right,
I don't have to give nobody an explanation. None of these people had to do what they did
right.
either at all.
Hmm.
They could have just said, this is another girl missing.
Right.
So what?
Yeah.
You got to think about it. Put yourself in these people's shoes, just like the same way they put themselves in her parents and her shoes.
Right. And her it's too. Her boyfriend is now her ex. Um, his comments are that he's disgusted by her actions and by her behaviors. Um, removed all images and things of her from his social media. Um, you
I'm
know,
not gonna lie. I also feel like this was a fame thing.
yeah,
Not gonna lie, I really do.
yeah,
The Carlee Russell situation got a lot of people talking. So his comments really like go back and forth to me. Like first you're disgusted, but then you want us to think this way, and then you want people to stop bullying her. I don't think people are bullying her. I think people are upset about the actions that she did, and it actually it's messed up.
yeah,
It's messed up because it's already hard enough to, you're not just undermining the people, you're undermining the police station. And now I have questions about Hoover PD. Because you mean to tell me this girl said she was in Hoover the whole time and y'all couldn't find her?
right.
What kind of, now I'm thinking about like, what kind of investigation is this? Like, are y'all really doing y'all job or what?
Full investigation. Did they actually do that? We tend to
Because she came home walking.
came home on foot. She came home on foot. So she had to have been nearby the whole time. Now, when I was doing my research and looking up some information, I had found some, and I don't know if this was true documents, if this can really be substantiated or not, but allegedly she had booked a hotel room and was staying at a nearby hotel.
So this red roof
Right.
keep coming up.
Coming.
I'm not going to disregard it because I think the police is holding on to something. I know they know.
Right.
Y'all holding on to something because allegedly, we're going to say allegedly,
Yeah.
because this red roof keep coming up. And I just,
Yeah.
like everything can't be a lie. Now, something has to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So yeah, they said there's a video out there that they got,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not trying to expose it. Allegedly.
Now, why do you think? Do you think that they're holding on to the information and not giving us all the details because of the pending criminal charges, and they're going to use this when it's time to go to court? And see, I don't see this going to trial. I see this situation where she is get offered a plea agreement and offered a plea deal. I don't see her going to jail. I know that each of the counts faces a maximum of 1 year in jail, and she's two misdemeanors, and each of the
She
misdemeanors
can only do up to a year.
up to a year. I don't see her going to jail for this.
I don't either. But this is the thing. Like I said, I was listening to Roland Martin's show. He got a show. He was talking about the whole Carlee Russell thing. And he was saying that they feel like the police is pissed off. So they're trying to change the law because there was a black girl missing.
Right.
And to me, honestly, I'm not going to do the race card on this one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. They pissed off because she really undermined their ability to even find somebody.
Right. And it makes them look like they're not competent because they were not able to look for her to just come
And
walk.
she just came up out of nowhere. That was the first. Remember when we first started talking about this case? That's why I said it makes them look bad. It does.
And so they're angered by that. And I think part of
This girl was missing for whole 49 hours, was in Hoover, and y'all was not even able to find her. Come on.
Right.
That make y'all look bad. I'm sorry. It does.
Makes you look really, really bad. And then it calls into question, how much did they really investigate? How much time and energy did they really?
But you saw it everywhere. You saw it on the news. The people were helping. The people were out trying to find her and everything. And when people say, oh, when she came out with a statement saying, oh, I acted alone. I was in Hoover the whole time. Nobody helped me. I was not in a Red Roof Inn. I don't believe none of that.
Right.
That all went out the window. I like when the story first broke, honestly, I believed it. I was like, for a day, for
Right.
a day, for
Yeah.
one day, I believed it. I'm going to be honest. I was like, dang, this is what they doing now? They just, luring women in the woods with kids, and they know we're going to get out because, that's our instinct.
Right.
We're going to make sure this child is okay. Then the second day, I was like, but the story still don't seem right. I felt uneasy.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like some bullshit was, getting fed to the people. And then as time went by, I was like, no, it's not gonna work because it all seems off. It seemed off from the start. To abductors really trying to do it that way and say, "Oh, I'm not gonna put stuff on your wrist because we don't want them to see." When I heard all that story, I was like, no.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Somebody that's very calculating and very manipulative. And I think, as you said, perhaps this was an attention-seeking move.
Attention-seeking move, yes. Where you got a lot of fame and people say, oh, well, she's not going to be able to do anything because her job fired her because she stole from her job. She did this. Baby, she still have views. She still have people talking about her as we are now.
Right.
Still talking about it. So at the end of the day, like, she's a star right now.
You know, there was even debates going around on social media. People were asking, posing the question of who should do the first sit down with her. Should it be Gail King? Should Wendy Williams come out of retirement and interview this girl? Should it be Jada Pinkett Smith? Should it be Oprah? Like, they were naming
And
names.
they're gonna pay money to get an interview with her. You know this. I know this.
Right. Right. They were naming names and having a debate. And it was, part of the whole, Carlee Russell media frenzy that's been going on since this story first broke 2 weeks ago. Um, I just find it interesting that part of her searches, we've already talked about she Googled and did a search for, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? She also searched for how to take money from a register without being caught. She also searched for a Birmingham bus station, one-way ticket from Birmingham to Nashville with a departure date of July 13th.
Yes.
Um,
Because she better have been in Nashville or Atlanta. Because
right.
her parents was looking for her in Atlanta. Why, I don't know. But
I don't know.
if she was in Hoover the whole time, that means you're really trying to make the police officers look real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah. And it's
I'm going to say it like Young Miami says it. Real bad. Real bad. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But
so on
I'm crazy.
July 13th, she'd done a search on the movie Taken. Then also July 13th, about 8:20 p.m. is when she left her workplace in Birmingham, which is about 10 miles from Hoover, about 8:20 p.m. local time. She ordered food from a nearby business from the Colonnade shopping mall and picked it up. She then stopped at a Target on Highway 280 to buy some granola bars and Cheez-Its. She stayed in the parking lot until 9:21 p.m., according to police. And then at 9:34 p.m., she calls 911 to report the toddler on the highway, saying she'd stopped to check on the boy. While she was on the phone with the dispatcher about the toddler, Russell traveled in her car about 600 yards, the distance of 6 football fields.
I mean, the 911 call seemed fake. She said they.
Right.
Who is they? You said a child. There's no they.
Mm-hmm.
I had to re-listen to it like 50,000 times because I was like, oh my God, like, who is they? I'm trying to see who is they? Who is, who else are you seeing? But you only seeing a child. So I'm trying to see who is they.
Right.
So I really want to know, I'm not going to stop saying this. I really want to know why the Red Roof was even a rumor. Why did it come, through the police officers? But it was removed quickly. Like, it was discredited.
Right.
She also said no one helped her. Like, I don't believe none of that.
Right.
Like, was this for like,
how are you surviving without your cell phone? Because you can't, unless you had some kind of burner phone at your disposal. But her cell phone was left behind in her car with her purse and her belongings. So how are you existing without contacts and connections to be able to be in contact with the outside world? How are you getting food? How are you making did you book your hotel in advance? Because
that's what I'm saying. Somebody had to be helping her, Brenda. It's like JT, I forgot what's his YouTube, but he was actually on the scene in Hoover, Alabama, and he shows you like right where she stopped, there's a trail.
Oh, there is.
And if you jump the fence, there's a neighborhood. So there's also, you could go different ways, but there's an actual trail that you can walk through. Okay. And a lot of like people who live in the neighborhood, they knew about that trail. So, 2 misdemeanors. She said she spent 49 hours in Hoover, Alabama. But the police was searching, and how she was not found, I have no idea. That looks very bad.
Yeah.
Um, Someone says that they had to act like they, like, I'm still on that show, on the Roland Martin show, about what they were saying, because they were like, oh, they just had to act like they gave a damn about, black girls missing and stuff like that. And um I can understand their point of view. I can, because people of color is the less people that get the most attention. But still, it doesn't excuse this action. And I feel like if they are seeking more of, and they're trying to change the law, I don't think that would be such a bad thing. I think that would help parents too, because I know if my kids come up missing, I'm gonna go crazy.
Right.
So I want some laws in place so you can make my child think twice. I
Right.
do. I do. I'm sorry. I'm just that type of mother. I don't, this is nothing to play with. I told my kids about it. I mentioned it to them. I let them know. I was like, like, you don't do these kind of things. Then they came back to me. They was like, Mom, she was lying.
Right.
I was like, that one, no, but
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
people just think you playing sometimes. And sometimes if you gotta do that, if you gotta change the law to make even, do it. Cause there's so many people out here that needs the attention, and we're not giving it to them.
Yeah. It's there's a gap in the attention and the assistance that
Exactly.
black and brown go missing. When the black and brown go missing, they don't get the same kind of attention. They don't get the same kind of energy that's put forth into trying to solve their cases and trying to find them than is with the white counterparts. And that's just statistics. That's just facts. So, by her pulling this stunt, I think it really had an impact that
Mm-hmm.
really trying to make headways and make changes and get more notoriety for when people of color do go missing. And, have done this is, like I said, she had no remorse. She had no feelings of guilt, no feelings of I made a mistake, I used bad judgment, I wasn't thinking properly. Like none of that. We've heard none of that, and we've seen none of that. And so that I have a real problem with. And
Right. Because you don't think that that person has learned from everything that has happened. You know, yes, she's young. I understand. Young people do crazy things at time. When I was 25, I did a lot of crazy stuff, you know. But you you have to take accountability. And I wouldn't have been mad if I had the consequences that I had, because it made me look at life different. It made me not want to do it again.
yeah, consequences is a big thing, and that certainly comes with accountability. When you are accountable for your actions, you are willing to suffer whatever consequences come your way, because that then teaches you, your lesson. And the lesson that you learn from that situation is, oh, I'm not going to do this again. This is a stunt I shall never I shall never pull. I will not repeat this behavior and this whole charade of lying, for days upon days, until she walked home to her parents' house, gave a brief statement to the police, was taken to the hospital, and is released from the hospital like 6 or 7 hours later. So ain't nothing wrong with you, girl.
And that's the point that I'm making. I'm not saying that I want her to go to jail forever. No, I'm not. I don't think this is for you to go to jail forever, but I definitely do think that it is it needs to be some strong consequences.
Yeah.
Because with anything else, it would be, I don't want to feel like it's because they have money. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Because people really want to base it on race, but sometimes race don't even matter. It's just be like follow the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she knew, like, even a little text message that came out that her ex was messing around with this stripper or whatever
Yeah.
in Alabama, and she was like, I'm rich, you're poor. That kind of lets you know on the mind frame that she's on. So maybe because she think, they got money and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's doable. And that's not fair. It's
Gotta.
not fair. It's not fair for the people that don't have no money or whatever, poor people, whatever you want to call them, have to suffer these consequences of being in jail for a very long time. And then you don't. It's like it's all about money in this world. And that's my thing, but
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story.
The conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation.
I back to the whole money thing. I mean, her Googling, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? I mean, it just kind of shows to me like her thought process, and then how to take money from a cash register. Her whole thought process was like, if she needed to pay for the Amber Alert, then she would have figured out a way to get the Amber Alert paid for. And my whole thing, I think part of her consequences should be that she should have to repay the state for the resources.
And everybody else who donated. And not only that, but she should go out here and try to find people who's actually missing.
She should have to be on, she should have to actually actively go out and search.
We need you to get out here and start trying to find some people, because that's how I would go that route. Like, we need you out here to go look for some people so you can see how it feels to look for missing people. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's not cool. I don't know. It's just, it rubbed me the wrong way, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hoover PD, I say don't play with them, but at the same time, I say, do you really want to look bad?
Well, what also looks bad to me, I mean, it's telling this whole story about how she's abducted, and she said the man had orange hair, was accompanied by a woman, and she could hear a baby crying. She told police that she escaped, but she was then folded, which
Yes,
house where she was.
yes.
She said the woman fed her cheese and crackers and played with her hair. At some point, she was put back into a vehicle. She was able to escape it while it was in the West Hoover area. That's when she ran through the woods to get home.
No,
Come on now.
it's all a lie.
Come on now.
We know it's all a lie now. So we don't have to keep reiterating that, because it's not true. But just like I said, like, Brenna, it's just, you know, a lot of stuff I feel like it's gonna come out because the social media, TikTok, and other people that was talking in Birmingham and about Alabama. Shout out to y'all. Like, I was listening to the lives and the everything, and they had way more information than what the police had,
Yeah.
and it turned out
Yeah.
that the story was actually true.
Yeah.
What they had versus the police. So, was this social media investigation solved? I think it was.
Yeah. Oh, as we opened with, she was charged with false reporting to law enforcement and false an incident. Both misdemeanors carry up to a year in jail. She voluntarily turned herself into law enforcement and was booked and processed at the Hoover City Jail. She was released
Right, in 10 minutes.
on
I
a
ain't never seen them process nobody that fast.
$1 bond for each of the charges. So, and she
That's why I said that. I said, and her lawyer, he was running for mayor at one time. Like, I didn't think nobody was gonna take this case just because it was a hoax.
yeah,
So you would think people have, what can I say, um, value in the police department, for something like this to happen, for you to actually, because Eric Gardner already said he was not gonna take, no, like no, you know, but of course, some other people, they want the face, they want the glamour of this whole situation, so they're gonna take up the case. And yeah, I mean, if I was a lawyer, I wouldn't, no, I wouldn't have took the case. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just saying, if I was, no, I'm not fooling around with no fake anything.
yeah. And I think that, being an attorney um, means different things to different people.
But people do deserve to be, represented.
Yes, everyone has the right to education.
Everybody has the right. Yeah.
But I think there's just the reason or why I would want to become an attorney and the types of cases and things that I would handle and I would take on would not be for notoriety or fame. To me, I would want to really have a belief that I'm really fighting for justice for someone and, really trying to get a good result for them, not trying to.
Not It's something else when you're fighting for a case and your client is telling you this. But when you know that it's a hoax, everybody knows that it's a hoax. What are you really fighting for? It's just what I'm just saying. Like, it was a good thing for her to get a lawyer, because I did say that in the previous podcast. It was a good thing because, and again, she just got to be lucky that God blessed her that Alabama law is not,
Florida law or the.
right. It's not another law. So now they're going to change it because of you. So now it's going to be like probably worst than what they had established at first. But I think this is a good thing. I think it's not a bad thing. I don't think that they're doing it because she's a Black woman. No, I don't. I think it's a good thing because they will actually help the parents as well. If your child knows that this is the repercussions of you doing something like that, they're gonna think twice about it.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, I'm not even gonna put myself in that position. Like, yes, if you're mentally disturbed, if you have something going on at home, don't do these kind of things. Just go to a counselor, get some help, tell mommy and daddy, just talk to them. Even if you're 25 and 26 years old, I think that would have been the easiest route out. And then try to set up a whole hoax situation, because honestly, I don't feel bad for her at all. And it's just my opinion. I don't.
No, I don't feel bad for her either. And I'm really, like I said in the beginning, I'm really disappointed and I'm really frustrated that, all of her comments and all her statements were released through her lawyer, that she didn't address the nation and social media herself with, any type of information. And what you said is true. She's not obligated to give us an update.
An opinion. She's not obligated to tell us anything. But if you really felt remorseful about the whole situation, you would have done it.
Yeah, because you put yourself in a situation.
Yeah, because that's how you feeling. But the mugshot tells us something totally different, baby. You ain't even learned your lesson yet. But social media, I'm gonna tell you right now. Social media is a bit, and I ain't gonna say the rest.
Mhm.
They probably do the worst job versus the police.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So much that you have to sort through, like, what's true and what's really false, and like, what do you believe and what do you not believe. And it's like, I'm in the same boat as you. I actually believed this story when I heard about it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And as a
because
parent,
I called you.
I felt for her parents and what they must be going through in this situation. I was thinking about, the problem that's going on in this country with human trafficking, with women being abducted and sold into human trafficking and sex slavery and all that kind of stuff that's going on. I'm thinking about her being abused and all of that. And so
And I call you for these things because I know that you are, pretty much, you look at it from a different perspective. So that's why I called you and I was like, what do you think about this?
like, wow, like, I really hope that they find her and that she's safe, and that, that was my fear, that she had been abducted and put into a situation of human trafficking, because that's a huge issue. Like, you can't go anywhere in Atlanta to a restaurant or hotel, the gas station or anything, and without there being a posted notice about if you are a victim of human trafficking. And so, with that being said, that was my big concern for her. And my worry was that, that's where she was on her way to. She was going to be moved into that type of situation. And I worried for her. But then, as the different information started to come out and information was being released via social media, it's like the story was making less and less and less and less sense. And then, after finding out about the Google searches and the searches for, the movie Taken and things like that, I was like, oh no, this girl is playing around with us. And when they find her, which hopefully they'll find her and she's returned back safe, which will be a blessing that she's returned back safe, she needs to be charged for the spent wasting our time and the time of the police department. So,
And I do feel bad for them, like I really do, because at the end of the day, the police is here to serve. They
yeah,
just doing their job. Yes, we know everybody doesn't serve for the best, but we do know that there's good people out there. You know what I'm saying? They do, and they make this their priority. Like, people don't want to believe that there's still good people out there, but there is still good people out there.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, but there's also bad people out there. I know that too. You know what I'm saying? But that's why they have certain things in place to make it fair.
Yeah.
And I just feel like when you undermine the police in this way, you are probably never in Hoover, Alabama. You probably been gone. But this make them look bad. It really does. I'm sorry. It makes Hoover PD look bad. That's just my opinion.
Wants to look bad. Nobody wants to look bad.
Because
So,
y'all couldn't even find a person missing for 49 hours and they just walk back home
right through the woods, down
and
the
got to go to the hospital.
yeah.
It make you look bad. And I understand why they pissed. I'm not even throwing the race card out there, but I can understand why they pissed.
Yep.
And in the law, guess what? She can't even be charged with more than a misdemeanor.
Nope. She's charged with the
So
maximum.
she ain't going to jail. To me, she doing community service,
Charged with the
especially with the lawyer that she got.
exactly. She's charged with the maximum that she's allowed to be charged, and that's it.
Exactly. So, dude, when are you gonna stop talking about this Carter?
We gonna stop. We done out. We done gone through the timeline. We done gone through.
Girl, just listen.
Started from the top.
If you have any issues, y'all, just talk about them. If you can't talk to your parents, if you can't talk to a friend, seek help. That's all I can say, because they about to change this law. After this, they're about to change it.
Yeah.
And I wish another person would.
I don't wish this actually on anybody.
I don't wish it either, but I'm just saying. Like, I'm just saying in general.
I dare you
Do it, and I bet you're going to have real repercussions after this.
I dare you to do it, and then we'll see what happens. But
yeah. that's it.
That's it. That is all. That's all I got to say about the whole situation. Do you have anything else that you want to say on it?
No, I just want to say, like, social media, they did their due diligence. TikTok, they did their due diligence. I believe everybody did. The police officer made they, due diligence in this case, the best they could.
Right. With what they had.
If you have somebody saying, I've been in Hoover, Alabama this whole time and y'all couldn't find me, ooh, that is a slap in the face. So I just hope that either they can push their resources more next time when somebody else come up missing, or try to figure out what it is that is keeping them from doing that. But other than that, I don't have nothing else to say.
Okay, what we talking about?
We've been on here for like 47 minutes.
What we talking about next week?
Huh?
What we talking about next week?
I was trying to get some artists on, and I'm still working on that. I'm trying. If we can't, we're talking about how to turn him on mentally. Because I think that's a good topic. I think that's a really good topic. I think people always think it's about physical
like that.
all that. But listen, when you're like, everybody ain't the same.
That's a good one.
So we can see about that one.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Real Chill Conversations. We'll be back next week with another episode with Dominique leading us on the topic for the week. Don't forget to join the Facebook group. Subscribe to our YouTube page, follow our page on Instagram, Real Chill Conversations. If you have any interest or any topics, or you want to be a guest, you can email us at realchillconversations@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
All until next week, y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye.